mu Parliament Dr. Eunice Apio Otuko eyalondebwa ng'omubaka omuggya ow'ekitundu ekya Oyam North Constituency ekyalimu Minisita Charles Okello Engola yakubwa amasasi omusirikale we omukuumi olwaleero alayidde mu Parliament era nga ono alayiziddwa wakati mu lujjudde lw'olwogoolo emizira mu Parliament nga bamusanyukirako kubanga alayidde. Dr. Eunice Apio Otuko wa kibiina kya UPC ekya Kena Obote era nga olunaku lwaleero ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 omwezi ogw'omusanvu mwaka 2023 lwakubye ebirayiro bye ng'omubaka omuggya owe Parliament owa ekitundu ekya Oyam North Constituency. Oyam North Constituency kiri eyo mu mambuka ga Uganda era nga kyali kikulemberwa omubaka era Minisita Charles Okello Engola. Charles Okello Engola yali mbaka wa Parliament ow'ekitundu kino ate nga Minisita w'abakozi. Minisita w'abakozi yakubwa amasasi omukozi Wilson Sabiti ng'amulanga kuba nti yali tamusasula nsimbi ze. Kati nno katugende mu Parliament tulabe olwaleero nga omukyalo ono Dr. Eunice Apio Otuko akuba ebirayiro bye ng'omubaka omuggya owa Oyam North Constituency. Okay.
I, Eunice Otuko Apio, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will give faithful service to this Parliament and support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established. So help me God.
Everywhere.
Awo nga amaze okukuba ebirayiro bye aweereddwa constitution aweereddwa ne byalina okugoberera amateeka mu Parliament bw'atyo n'ayambuka ewa Speaker ayongere okumukakasa nti ddala
Honorable members,
omujja.
I want to welcome Dr. Eunice Apio. Welcome to Parliament of Uganda. And I sincerely want to congratulate you on behalf of the 11th Parliament. Congratulations. And welcome to 11th Parliament. The Parliament that you're joining is a people-centered Parliament, united in serving the needs of the people and, of course, the aspirations of the common Ugandan. And I urge you to abide by the Constitution that you've sworn. You've sworn to pay allegiance to the Constitution and abide by it. I want once more to congratulate you. And on a special note, I want to congratulate the President of UPC, Honorable Kena, and UPC at large. I want to congratulate you, and I am going to give you the Constitution of Republic of Uganda, 1995. This Constitution will help you in what you've sworn to pay allegiance to, and in doing your work, day-to-day work in Parliament of Uganda. We have the rules of procedure, and the rules of procedures are also here. that you will be using in doing your work on a day-to-day. And in Parliament, this side of the House is for opposition, and this side, the right-hand side, is for government. This side is for government, still with the coalition. So you can choose where to sit. For now, we have free sitting, but your president will guide you. You can actually sit near the vice president. I mean the prime minister. But welcome. Honorable Eunice, you have to sign. Thank you so much. And the arrangement of the House is pursuant to Rule 9. Opposition sits this side, ruling party sits this side. Thank you. Please have a seat.
Item 3, communication from the chair.
What? Honorable members, I welcome you to this afternoon's sitting. As the financial year 2023-2024 gains traction, and as the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development disburses the approved budgets to the various expenditure centers, I have noted and have gotten reports of the money that has been returned and spent from different districts, from different votes, back to the consolidated account, fund account. We may need to have a reconciliation on that money that has been returned. We need a reconciliation on that money. The failure of some entities to effectively utilize their budgets is an indictment of the planning function at various levels that affect our national development aspirations. Because if you've budgeted for 1 billion and you've not been able to consume and use all the money, and you're returning it, then you're affecting the budgeting, the planning process. So you must always budget for what you know you're going to consume. And that still comes back to us in Parliament, that we should not disburse money when it is towards the end of the financial year, because this money will not be consumed. Whereas our role as members of Parliament is to do appropriation of the budget, we also owe to this country to ensure that people are represented well. They approve the budgets, help in reducing poverty, and help in working for Whereas our role as members of Parliament is to do appropriation of the budget, we also owe to this country to ensure that people are represented well. They approve the budgets, help in reducing poverty, and help in working for the living conditions of our people. Let's not just approve, but let's make sure that we follow the use of this money that is approved. I therefore call upon the leaders and the technocrats to ensure that efficient, effective, and economic utilization of the funds that are approved is being done. Honorable members, considering that we are in the 4th year of implementation of the National Development Plan 3, it's imperative that the resource utilization matches the national development aspirations. And that's why I am emphasizing on the issue of utilization of the money and the projects to be completed. I want to ask members, please don't sleep on your jobs. Ensure that you make a follow-up with your constituencies, with your districts, with most of the MDAs to ensure effective use of this money is done. Once more, I want to welcome Honorable Eunice Apio to Parliament of Uganda, and this is your parliament. It's a people-centered parliament, and in parliament, while we are in parliament in the house here, we are not on parties. We work as members of parliament, we work for the people of Uganda. We will not say Eunice of UPC, no. Eunice, the member of parliament of Uganda. So we look forward to working with you. And this house is a very friendly, united house, very loving members of parliament, and very hardworking. And I pray that you serve the people of Oyam the way they expect of you. Thank you. Yes, Royal Guard. Honorable Angora. On the communication, all of you.
Yes.
Honorable members, I want us to agree on one thing. Those who have matters of national importance will come at the Prime Minister's time, so that the Prime Minister is able to answer everything at a go. At a go. And let's limit. We have a very important message from Attorney General that you're waiting for. So I don't think we should waste a lot of time. Yes?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I just want to
Honorable members, before we just hold on. I want to give an instruction that before we get a report from the Committee of Infrastructure on the guidelines of the use of 1 billion shillings, which has been sent to districts, which is being misunderstood, that money should not be used first. Chairman, we need those guidelines here on Tuesday. That this house must approve those guidelines. No use of the 1 billion shillings by districts.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in reaction to your communication, you've rightly said that as we come to the close of appropriation, many MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies return money to the consolidated fund. It is a common practice for us from the accountability side. We refer to it as sweeping because the system switches off automatically, so most of these funds are not absorbed. And Madam Speaker, you've raised a pertinent issue, which we have kept inquiring into, and maybe we shall now get further guidance on how to proceed with it. When this money comes back, you remember we do appropriation and even pass the budget before we know how much is going to come back. And we assume that the collections that are going to be mobilized from whether locally and development partners will service the budget that we approve. And these funds now come back. And we need to come up with a very good understanding as to how we shall be treating those funds, despite the call that we have been receiving that those funds are absorbed into the budget. And some of them go back as supplementaries. We need to understand that much. But also, Madam Speaker, there's a very serious issue that is causing this sweeping back of these funds. One, late release. Then two, we also have now a common issue related to capacity building. Many times we are told the system towards the end of appropriation is so slow. They try to log in, I don't know what system that login is, and it ends up switching off without the money being absorbed. We can even literally be made to understand that it is an intention. It is an intention that the money is going to be taken back. You fail the entities from absorbing by making it difficult for the system to be accessed. So, Madam Speaker, I think this is an observation that is good, and we need to take up this very seriously to support our entities, MDAs and ministries and agencies, to absorb this money, but also to come up with a strong position that money that is not spent for activities that were planned and budgeted must go back in the first supplementary schedule in order to complete those programs and activities. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, about, I think 3 months ago or 4, we made a resolution here, Right Honorable Speaker, on certain accounting officers who did not perform. I remember there was an accounting officer, if I recall very well, areas of Makindye. There was an accounting officer, I think from the areas of Mitiana. Right Honorable Speaker, we made a resolution and government pledged and promised this House that they are going to act on these accounting officers. To date, as we are talking, these same accounting officers have been recycled and they are still in office, Right Honorable Speaker. This is why we are getting these challenges.
Get us the list of the names that were recommended by this House, and we see whether they are still in the office. Let's
There was an accounting officer, I think from the areas of Mitiana. Right Honorable Speaker, we made a resolution and government pledged and promised this House that they are going to act on these accounting officers. To date, as we are talking, these same accounting officers have been recycled and they are still in office, Right Honorable Speaker. This is why we are getting these challenges.
Get us the list of the names that were recommended by this House, and we see whether they are still in the office.
Much obliged, right?
Let's have, because to the best of my knowledge, they laid list of accounting officers on the floor and those who were stopped from being accounting officers. So bring the list.
Much obliged, Right Honorable.
Honorable Kirol.
I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for your communication, and I rise in reaction to the same. Right Honorable Speaker, this is in respect of the funds which are taken back, which are swept back. It's very painful that you find monies of a project which has reached a level of roofing, but you find because of that time lapse, the money is swept back. Right Honorable Speaker, for us to realize development and progress in this country, it is very important that we stamp our feet as a parliament, that the funds which have been swept back should immediately be reverted. We should be able to revert these funds back so that they are able to complete the project. But it appeals much also to the legislation. Now, there are these funds which are donor, there are projects, for example, bank for World Development Bank. These funds are given to the country to perform, but you see, they are part of the funds which are also swept back. So we should be able to have.
Honorable members, I am happy the Prime Minister is concerned also about the swept.
Most obliged.
Now, that swept money, from the accounting view, I want to ask the Committee of Finance to do this House a favor and look at a statement of that account on the 30th June. 30th of June. How much money was there? Then I want also a statement on the last day, 31st. I am speaking as an accountant now. I want us to reconcile that account. Let's have the statement before the sweeping, and then the statement after the sweeping, and then a reconciliation on the sweeping. If what was swept back is 5 billion, 1 billion came from Bukedea, the other one came from this, came from this. I am giving finance 1 week to do that. Where you need consultancy services, I'm available. Honorable members, this is a serious matter. When you're doing appropriation, you appropriate and say the source of funding is going to be ABCD. I have never seen a balance carried forward from the last financial year. Yes, Doctor, not on sweeping.
Madam Speaker, I wanted to propose further, apart from reconciliation, if we could establish why was the money returned, it would help us. It would help us, let me make my point. It would help us to understand whether it was the mistakes of the institutions or whether it was the deliberate.
Honorable members, listen to the idea, to what Professor is saying.
I'm saying, if we also go further and establish if money was returned from Bukedea, why was it returned? Was it a weakness of a local government, or it was a deliberate effort from the center to not to release money in time?
Honorable members, we have sectoral committees. The sectoral committees are responsible to do that. That's one. Two, PAC Central will do that work also.
First obliged.
Yes, Chairman PAC.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you. There are basically 3 things we should be considering as far as this matter is concerned. Number one, Honorable Speaker, the Minister for Finance should be able to come and explain why releases are made very late. You recall towards the end of last financial year, 6 days to the end of the financial year, the Minister was here boasting how they had released the money. 6 days to the end of the financial year. And then Professor is talking about reasons. The reasons are known. Monies are released late, and they are supposed to do procurement and recruitment. And these are processes. So ordinarily, money has to be swept back. So the ministry, the finance ministry should be able, Right Honourable Speaker, to explain why releases are made late. And Right Honourable Speaker, in accountability committees, the questions being asked here, we have asked them. In fact, there are entities where they receive more than what was budgeted for. An entity budgets, let's say for 15 billion, 15 billion is actually warranted, and they receive 17 billion. And then we are asking, how does this come about? So these are questions, Right Honourable Speaker, that I'm sure the Finance Committee should be able to understand. But also, Right Honourable Speaker, as a way of addressing this matter, now that the learned Attorney General is here, Senior Counsel Chiriowa Chiwanuka, we should seriously consider looking into reforming the Public Finance Management Act. Because if it is condition precedent to returning, and that's what the law says, sometimes these entities' hands are tied. So that is a matter, maybe perhaps the Finance Committee.
And maybe when you return, that should be the first call when the money has been returned. When the first quarter starts, that money should be taken back.
Yeah, and those are legislative issues that we can discuss, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honorable members, I wish you could understand why I have asked for that simple audit. I wish you could understand. You don't even need to debate on it. You need to wait for results. You need to wait for results. Don't even dilute what I have asked for. Don't dilute it, because few of you know figures. all of you, each of you have your specialty, but I know why I'm asking. Honorable members in the public gallery this afternoon, we have teachers of NAMA.
Okay, bwe bityo bye biri mu parliament ndowooza obiwulira. Tubadde ne Apollo Eunice, Dokita mbaka omujja eyalondeddwa okukiikirira ekitundu ekyeri mu mambuka ga Uganda ekya Oyam North Constituency ekyali kiikirirwa Honorable Charles Okero Engola alayidde lunaku olwaleero era naweebwa constitution n'amateeka agafuga parliament. Era kati mu kwogera kwa speaker ayogedde ku nsimbi eziweezebwa mu bitundu ebyenjawulo ku madistrict mu councils ate ensimbi zino ezikomezebwawo. Lwaki zikomezebwa nga tezikoze mirimu ate nga zaasazibwa nti no zigenda kukola? Obunafu buli luddawa? Ye ensimbi ziddayo zitya ng'ewatali bya kukola, ng'amakubo gabeerayo nga si makole mabi naye ate nga bazizaayo ensimbi? Kabaddi kyakali awo, katemba kyali awo. Ebye Uganda si byangu. Kati nno bigenda mu maaso. Naye nze neebaza mmwe abaliko abampagira abagizi bange, mwebale kubaako, mwebale kunjagala, mwebale byonna obubaka bumuteekako mbulaba mbusiima, obuwabuzi bumuteekako musiima nnyo okuba nti mumpabula. Naye kanneeyongere okulaba nti nga mbanoonyeza amawulire nga baba mutambulenga n'okumanya. Mukama asaba abankuumire, tujja kuba tuddamu. Mweraba.